Howdy folks, I'm sneaky small tortoiseshell. Howdy folks, I'm sneaky small tortoiseshell, swiftly swiping sweet snacks.
I'm Amber.
And here are more sweet snacks for us to swipe, but it was just flowers because that's what we do as butterflies. We eat flowers. Well, nectar. Let's get started. Drinking the sweet, sweet nectar of Reddit stories. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Wanting to Eat Dinner with My Boyfriend? So my boyfriend works a corporate job with kind of variable hours. Usually he's home by 6, but sometimes he's only home at 7 or 8. He usually makes dinner on weekends unless he has the day off or something like that. My issue is I hate eating dinner late. I'm usually starving by 4 p.m., so waiting until 7 p.m. for dinner is not really practical for me, and I don't want to add a ton of extra calories to my day by eating snacks to tide me over and then eating a whole dinner. So I often eat dinner before my boyfriend gets home, unless he's back before 5. Well, I keep his dish for him, usually tin foil to keep it warm, but sometimes I need to reheat it if he's late, so he can get it when he gets home. And I'll totally sit with him at the table and chat with him while he eats. But he says that this bugs him and he wishes that I would wait to eat with him until he gets home. I've told him that I don't like eating late and it messes with my sleep, but he thinks that I'm exaggerating. He points out that he's almost always home by 6 and the 7 to 8 p.m. is only a few times per month. He thinks that 6 p.m. is totally a reasonable time to wait for supper, but it feels late to me. I just don't feel like I should have to adapt my eating schedule that doesn't feel good to me. I feel like he should be grateful that I'm willing to make dinner at all. Like I would be happily eating a girl dinner every night if I didn't have a man to cook for and I could totally leave him to fend for himself. But am I being a jerk here? Also, I should mention that I'm full-time, work from home, and we have no kids. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, everyone's eating cycles has their own bodily needs in terms of eating. I'm someone who eats early. I eat my dinner early, and if you made me wait until 7, I would just be like, I would just be like not happy at all. I would be so hungry, and so I don't blame OP for not wanting to wait until 7. And some people do have certain set points where they recommend you don't need to eat after 7 or 8 p.m. Obviously that doesn't apply to everyone, but for some people it is really important that you stop eating early so your body has time to digest beforehand.
Yeah, I think that in this particular case, OP's handling this in a really healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like OP's made a really good compromise where she'll sit and talk with him and keep him company while he eats. He just doesn't seem to like the fact that OP's already eaten and doesn't actually join him at the exact same time. And I think that's a little bit unfair. I mean, OP is cooking them dinner, they're making them a meal, and if they got home more early, then they could enjoy dinner together more often. And I think, that's really what this boils down to, right?
Well, that's the thing, is OP is going above and beyond to try and make this nice for him. She has warm food ready for him to eat. She's willing to sit down and converse with him. It's just not that she's also eating. And so him expecting her to shift her eating schedule to align with his is just not a reasonable ask.
No, it isn't. And I mean, she works full time as well, and then she's also cooking this meal for him. So she's had a long day by the time she gets off of work, and she's still doing this, act of love for him, and he doesn't seem to really appreciate it and wants her to shift her schedule around. And I think that's unfair. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Home Tulse says, not the jerk, based on this, I'll totally sit with him at the table and chat with him while he eats. You're not missing out on time together because you ate before you got home. It's the same like not being into thrill rides, but waiting in line with someone in the amusement park. You're still spending quality time with each other. Just eat whenever you feel like you're hungry. And OP replies, I agree, but it's like it doesn't count unless I'm eating too. And Dog Puzzle Headed 8217 says, no jerks here, but I agree with your boyfriend that it is nicer to eat together. I'm usually hungry around 3 or 4 p.m., but that's a perfect snack time. I'll have something small and healthy so I don't spoil dinner. For example, fruits, cheese, and crackers. I don't know your schedule, but is there any room for compromise? And OP replies, ugh, but that adds up so quick, and I'm not the best intuitive eater. I am a total creature of habit. I don't usually count calories, but cheese and crackers every day would be like a 200, 300 extra calories per day, and then I just have to adjust how much I eat at dinner to compensate. It just sounds like a headache to me. I do wait for him fairly often if I end up making dinner close to 6 p.m., and I just nibble on some of the ingredients of the food that I'm making. But if I'm starving or cooking at 4 or 4:30, it only takes me 20 to 30 minutes to make the food, and then I end up staring at a fully prepared meal sitting on the stove for an hour waiting for him to come back. I mean, I don't know why people are downvoting OP on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm also like, I cannot eat anything like immediately before a meal. Like, I have such a hard time with like if I try to have a snack beforehand, I can spoil my appetite for like hours later. So I get where OP is coming from with like it is hard to like know just how much to eat to not spoil your dinner. But also like she shouldn't have to change her body's routine and do something that's unideal for her, the way her body operates, just to appease him. She's already made huge compromises.
Yeah. And Soccer Problem 3547 says, you could just push lunch back by an hour. Instead of eating at 12, you eat at 1. And OP replies, but then I'm starving by 1. I usually eat lunch at 11. Either way, I'm the one having to suffer. Obviously, it's not real suffering, but I still find that I'm super distracted when I'm hungry, so it's hard to work. Plus, I work from home, so it feels even more like intentional deprivation when I could just go to the fridge when I'm hungry. I don't know. I don't think that OP's in the wrong here. I think they are making a compromise, and I think that people aren't viewing that as a compromise.
Well, it's such a huge compromise, you know, and people aren't valuing all of OP's labor. Like, she could just leave him to fend for himself.
Yeah.
And like that would be totally fine because they're both adults who are doing their own jobs. But she goes out of her way to make a meal for him and to like talk with him and make sure that he has a nice mealtime. She's just not eating food.
Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Best Friend I Understand Why His Fiancée is So Disappointed That He Proposed to Her at the Gym? So I'm a 27-year-old female, and I was excited when my best friend, a 27-year-old male, told me that he had proposed to his girlfriend, a 29-year-old female. He said that he had the proposal on video. I was so confused when the video started out at the women's gym. When I saw his girlfriend on the exercise machine in the video, I had a bad feeling. She looked so shocked and she said yes. She only looked happy for 2 minutes, and the rest of the time she gave an insincere smile. My best friend expressed frustration that his fiancée had confessed that she wasn't happy with her proposal after he had asked her why she looked so sad. He was venting to me and asked me how I would feel if a guy proposed to me while I was at the gym. I guess he really expected me to agree with him, but I said that I would hate it. I said that I don't want to be proposed to when I'm sweaty and stinky at the gym. I basically explained to him that I understand why she's disappointed. My best friend called me shallow and a bad friend. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think there are a lot of women out there, myself included, probably people of all genders, who wouldn't want to be proposed to at a gym. You know, here he is coming in. He's had time to look nice and get all ready for this proposal. He's filming this, and here she is in the middle of a workout. Like, if you're going to do surprise proposals, it's ideal if you do it on like maybe like a date night or something, so your partner has time to feel dressy and look their best and not be like, oh my goodness, he's filming this and here I am covered in sweat. And like, she may look like the most beautiful person to the world to him when she's, you know, working out at the gym, but in her own mind's eye, she's probably not feeling her best.
Well, if this was some kind of shared activity that they enjoyed and they really were into being at the gym together, you know, exercising and stuff like this, and this was like a huge focal point of their lives, I could see an argument being made that proposing to her at the gym would be a sweet thing. However, according to the comments, there's nothing tying them to the gym, right? So there's not like this is a special location where they met. It's not like this that they met at the gym while exercising and then hit it off or anything like that. There's no anniversary or anything along those lines. So it's just that he wanted to show up one day at the gym while she's exercising and propose, which I think is preposterous.
Well, it's also a women's only gym on top of that. So he's invading a women's space to make this proposal happen.
Yeah.
And that feels a little icky too.
Like, proposals are generally, like, if you're going to do a proposal, then it's going to be at a romantic location or some shared event where you both can be, like, have like a familial like bond or something like that. And I think that this is not familial, but I mean like a familiar where you two can have like a bond or something like that. And I think that he kind of missed all the points here of like a proposal. It's supposed to be like a romantic thing, and maybe he thinks it's romantic, but clearly his idea of romance and her idea of romance are vastly different if he thought that this was a good idea.
Well, and he just seems to think that women should just be happy no matter where they're proposed at, because they get so offended. Because again, bring this back to OP.
Yeah, bring it back to OP.
All OP said was, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
And he's upset at her and saying that she's being too picky or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, people are allowed to dislike certain proposal styles, and it is up to you as a partner to figure out what kind of proposal your partner would prefer.
Yeah. And again, like, I agree with you, bringing it back to the OP here. He asked for an opinion, OP gave them an opinion, and then he insults OP because of the opinion that they gave them. Like, that doesn't make them a good friend, and I think that OP should really reconsider this friendship if their best friend is calling them shallow because they gave them an honest answer. Right?
Yeah, well, hopefully this is a one-off and he's just feeling really hurt that he messed up so bad. But it's not okay to lash out and take it out on OP.
Yeah.
I think he needs to do some serious self-reflection and apologize to OP.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I've been dating my 22-year-old male boyfriend for a year and a half. I'm a 21-year-old female. He won't listen when I speak up, even in public. Is this fixable? We were out at dinner last night, and the waiter came over to take our order. I had been excited about this pasta dish all week, and I started to say that's what I wanted. But my boyfriend spoke over me and told the server that I would have the salmon. I said, no, I want pasta, and he repeated himself, saying salmon. Like it was settled. The server looked at me, and before I could get another word in, he jumped in again and said that I'll have the salmon. She always changes her mind anyways. At that point in time, I felt stuck. The restaurant was already super busy. The server already had their notepad out, and my boyfriend was talking with this tone like he was making the decision for me. I froze, not because I didn't know what I wanted, but because I didn't want to argue with him, and the server was standing right there. I just sat there angry, thinking that this was supposed to be my meal, my choice, and he completely overrode me. When the food came out, I barely touched it, and he asked why, and I told him that I was upset that he ignored me, and he brushed it off like I was blowing things out of proportion. I ended up leaving early because I didn't feel like sitting through the rest of the evening after that. Later, he texted me saying that I embarrassed him and that I overreacted, and now he's acting like I'm the problem. The thing is that I've seen his dad order for his mom, so I think that he thinks it's polite or gentlemanly, but I don't see it that way. If he had actually ordered the thing that I had wanted, then maybe I could have laughed it off, but ignoring me after I said pasta twice felt controlling. I don't know how to move forward from this. Do I try to explain clearly that he can never do this again, or is the fact that he doubled down already a sign that he doesn't respect me enough to listen in the first place? All right, folks, what do you think?
I think that you have your sign, OP. Unfortunately, you repeatedly tried to talk to him about this and say that you wanted to have try to order for yourself, and he just kept overriding you. And now when you try to talk to him about it afterward, he is acting like you're the problem and saying that you embarrassed him. You didn't embarrass him. He embarrassed himself by being a controlling jerk.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really what this boils down to. He embarrassed himself. And he's upset because OP is not playing into his game of control. That's why he's mad. He's not mad because OP stormed out. He's mad because OP refused to be controlled in this situation. And he's trying to show OP who's boss, right? And so this is just kind of a classic abusive type of feedback loop where he's showing like he's distancing himself from OP, blaming OP for this so that OP comes crawling back to them and is like, I'm sorry, I won't do this again type of thing, right? So I think that OP, this is the end of the relationship, and I don't think that there is any fixing this unless he deeply apologizes and gets therapy and has a really good reason for doing this or something like that. But even then, the fact that he's like, she always changes her mind, like, that just feels icky to me, right?
It does. The whole thing felt icky.
Who cares if she always changes her mind? Then that's on her at that time, right? Like,
Right.
that's not his responsibility.
Well, that's the thing is like sometimes when you try new foods, you may not like it, you know, and that's just a risk you take, but it doesn't mean that you're not capable of ordering your own foods and making your own decisions.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call coordinated fire starters?
Oh, I would call them probably a group of arsonists.
Matchy matches.
Oh,
And it's National Matchmakers Day.
oh,
Also National Trail Mix Day.
yes. So go find yourself a perfect match and don't burn things down, please. Unless it's like a bonfire. You can burn a bonfire or a fireplace or whatever. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. I hope this Sunday is off to a special start for you. And you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please just have it on some general relationship advice.
Don't control your partner's eating choices or patterns.
I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.